It's Monday and it is 6 o'clock, so it is time to pull up. Every Monday here on DFWIRadio.com, we talk sports, news, and hip hop. We don't talk about people, we just talk about the headlines. And again, I clarify, we don't talk about people, we're just talking about the headlines. And so today, it sounds like there is a rain delay and I am by myself for the first few minutes, so we are going to get started here. And I guess I should just go ahead and talk. Wait, I think I have a guess. What's going on? So, guys, we're waiting on Shaw Tom Shaw. He has a rain delay, it sounds like, but I do want to introduce the newest member of our team as he is joining me to talk sports today. I've got my intern, Taj, is joining the show for the first time today. Hey, Taj, how are you?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And my guy, Josh, my other intern, is joining us on the show today. So
Yeah.
hey,
What's
Josh.
up? What's up?
So we are going to get you guys started
What's
because
up? I
Mr.
like your lipstick today. You looking good.
Thank you. Thank you. My face a little ashy, but I ain't going to tell nobody. Y'all know we got to keep it honest. But thank y'all for joining me. Mr. Shaw is running behind due to the weather. So I am going to go ahead and talk and produce and bear with me as I try to get this stuff on Facebook because the people be like, hey, you don't be posting it. So, you guys, can you tell the people just a little bit about yourself before we get into this episode that has so much information today? So, Josh, you go
You go
first.
first, Taj.
Are you going to put it on Taj?
Josh Crawford. No, I'm good. That's whatever. I just you trying to give my man some shine, but I can take the ball in my court. But
Okay,
Josh
let's go
Crawford,
then.
mass comm major, football player, podcaster, creative. Just a black man trying to make it. That's me.
You left out the most important part on this show if you're not paying attention to what our fans represent. You got to represent that you a PV guy. Like, I think we got him
Oh,
off.
come on now. Quit playing with me.
You
Where
got
my
to tell
mask?
people. Like, people are listening. You got to
Come on
tell
now.
them
Hold
that.
on.
Like,
You right. Come on now.
so
56. Big PV. Yeah. Quit
okay,
playing with me.
there we go. There we go. And
Get it right,
Taj,
Miss Candy. My
tell
bad. I'm tripping, huh?
always when you come on this show, you gotta represent. Taj, tell them about yourself.
Well, I don't go to PV, but I do go to Sam Houston State University. I'm a mass communication major, and yeah, I'm a junior. So yeah.
Okay. And these guys are on here with me today because they talk sports. I have my football guy and my basketball guy. So what we're going to go ahead and get started with first, we're going to wait on Mr. Shaw to get deep dive into the playoffs, but we are going to talk about the Uncle Shay Shay tweet the Uncle Shay Shay actual live situation that occurred on national TV. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, they were on Undisputed today doing a regular, normal, everyday show, and in the process of doing an everyday show, um, Uncle Shay Shay decided to call his guy Julio. Julio answered, and Julio shared his thoughts on getting out of Atlanta and not wanting to come to Dallas. National TV. So, did he know he was on, or did he not know he was on? Josh, you go first. What do you think?
I mean, that's the biggest thing. I just seen one tweet where it talked about professionalism. It literally said, "Dear journalism students, this is exactly what not to do with a guest." So that's pretty bad, in terms of not letting your friend know he got a hot mic essentially. But I mean, Julio seemed pretty forthcoming with the information, and yeah, Atlanta needs to start looking for trade deals quick, fast, in a hurry, and see what they can get.
Todd?
Well, in my opinion, I think he definitely knew because I don't think they risking like any type of being sued. Like I don't think Fox is risking being sued by Julio Jones by uh like letting that information be out in the public without him knowing. So I think he kind of knew what was going. I think Uncle Shay Shay had a little conversation with him before hopping on live.
I agree with you. Okay, because here's the reality of the situation with my friends. If my friends are coming on this show, they know what time I record. and they know what time they calling me back. And because Shannon Sharp was is a Hall of Famer, right? Let's not leave that out. I don't think he would set his friend up like that. I don't not somebody who, you are mentoring. Shannon has become he's everybody's favorite uncle. I just don't think that he would risk putting him in that spotlight if it wasn't something that he wanted to come out.
I mean, I definitely agree. Somebody said, yeah, the studio mics and ops are not directly linked to his phone. So I mean, there definitely had to be some prerequisites, some approval before that happened. But I think it was more telling the information that he said about him basically declaring that he's done with Atlanta. I would say surprising. That information doesn't typically come out straight from the source. Shefty tweet usually probably gets it done. But I mean, Atlanta's been underachieving for a while. Matt Ryan is no longer getting the job done, and I see he's gonna get traded. He's gonna get traded to a contender, I believe. I want to see what he does for the team that he goes to.
Okay, and what about the part, Taj? What do you think
About
Julio getting out of Atlanta? Like,
I think. I mean, everybody's seen this coming, especially after they gave up the 28-point win in Super Bowl. I think all the morale had been at as low as it could be. So, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs back up a year. So, yeah, I think everybody knows he's looking to get out of there. They also know that Dallas isn't the place to go.
Exactly. I think that was the dagger, right? Especially for Cowboy fans. He was like, Dallas was never on the table.
Yeah.
And being somebody that has like this, I want to like them, but I really can't like them because I just don't understand them, and I don't understand why Dallas does any of the things that they do. It was like a dagger to the Cowboys because an extra receiver could help the Cowboys, right? You give Dak additional targets, which opens up the field. So I was just kind of in a situation like, yikes! Like this is how he coming. Like I was a little shocked by that. But we are going to stop. Mr. Shaw was in the building. Shawtime Shaw. So because he's running late and it was raining and boy, this man can't drive. I wanted him to be safe. So I didn't even call him and find out what was going on.
You're talking nose. What? Check your nose there.
Check. Go to hell. I didn't want you. You don't drive well in. You don't drive bad and drive well in bad weather.
You don't talk to me on TV, but I'm not.
I just needed you to be safe. Okay. I needed you to be safe. So guys, a little bit off topic, but I do want to shout out my co-host and my brother. He had his first live comedy show. He's a real comedian now. Because at first he was just playing and telling jokes. Now he's at least serious. He did a comedy show this weekend. He did a great job. So I want to shout you out for that.
Appreciate it. Who y'all taking in that Miami versus Bucks game? Who y'all got?
Well, I'm a certified Heat fan, so I'm gonna go Heat all the way. But I think we're gonna have no trouble closing out game 2 though.
Okay.
Josh, what you think?
I think the rain.
Yeah, the rain. Texas is like, we didn't have the blizzard. Now we having tsunamis across the state. Like, it's been raining for 40 days. So we want to talk about that, right? We want to get into basketball, the NBA.
I just need to know by 6:30 because I got to put that bid in. Josh, what you think? Who you think? Heat or Milwaukee? Froze on me.
I'm going.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing that happened last year. Giannis is not designed to play the playoffs. He doesn't have a jumper. He hasn't improved on it. He literally sets his team up for failure, going 1 for 2 at the free throw line, and Jimmy Butler going to the lane and getting 2 assists in the game overtime. So I'm definitely down on them right now. They just played last year. I don't see why the Bucks haven't got any that much better. I don't see why the Heat not winning this season.
Okay. I just wondered. I just wonder if I put my bet in. Just wonder. I think the Heat. I feel like Ben. The reason why I feel like Bam was disrespected when we talking defensive player of the year. First of all, let's just be honest. If Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, Utah could get swept. Now they say he gonna play game 2, but if Donovan Mitchell, so your second best player is Rudy Gobert, and offensively he can't contribute. So I'm saying that Bam can do what Rudy Gobert can do, and he can do what Ben Simmons can do. And Draymond as well. He wasn't in the defensive player of the year category. For your team to be 6th in the East, which the East got better, I feel like that was extremely disrespectful. Jimmy Butler missed a whole lot of time. How good are the Heat without Jimmy Butler? Right? We see what they look like without Jimmy Butler. So just say that Bam should have been in the defensive player of the year category. All right,
Okay.
just off top.
Yeah, off topic as always. But that was your argument for your Kentucky.
No, I'm saying we talk about Heat Milwaukee. You're gonna watch him guard Giannis. There's nobody else in the NBA can guard Giannis like that. Maybe Ben Simmons can, but
Right, but we had this conversation on another show where we talked about the fact of his footwork, right? We talked about that. We talked about but that's the one piece, right? Because the Miami team is incomplete without Jimmy Butler.
facts.
So we know as Josh stated that it is difficult for Giannis to be, show up in the playoffs because what he does in the regular season, it does not work in the playoffs. Same goes as we switch over to the Western Conference and we talk Dallas Clippers. Taj, what is your thoughts on that series?
Dallas Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the Clippers' game plan gonna be let Luka run amok and then see if the other players can beat him. But I mean, if they don't get something going defensively to stop Luka, just having their whole offense flow in general, the Mavericks might be able to come away with that. I don't see them coming away with it at the end of the day. Like I still think the Clippers gonna close them out, but the Mavericks can definitely make some shake in that series.
But what does it take for a Clipper closeout, Mr. Shaw? Like, what is needed? What do the Clippers need to do different against Dallas in order to secure that series?
I don't know if the Clippers can secure that series. I think we were hyped on the 2 greatest perimeter defenders since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen last year. I think Jamal Murray already showed us that, they're not knocking Kawhi, but Paul George isn't who we think he is. They said they're gonna put Kawhi on Luka now. I don't think it really matters. I feel like Luka knows his teammates aren't. Luka knows he don't have a second star, right? He knows Porzingis is his second star, but he know KP be out. He be injured sometime. If KP can play, the series different. If they got nobody for KP, right? It's really not Luka. It's if KP can be healthy, because there's nothing they can truly do with KP, right? So if Luka gonna do him. Luka a walking triple double. Luka gonna get his bucket. Luka gonna put the ball where it need to be. All you can do is now focus on Paul George being the best version of Paul George. And until Paul George is the best version of Paul George, there's nothing the Mavericks need to worry about. That's my opinion.
Josh?
I'm gonna say Paul George is doing Paul George things in the playoffs. Here's the thing: the Clippers have 3 all defensive guys. So in theory, Luka Doncic is not supposed to be performing the way he did. So, but that's the thing about the Clippers all the whole time. How many different ways have they gone into the playoffs and not gotten there like they were supposed to? I think the bubble was definitely an anomaly. They're weaker than they were last year, and I mean, KP is never gonna but he's not the player that he was in New York right now. But he's still a serviceable starting 4. So give me Dallas. I definitely don't like the Clippers, and PG is continue to disappoint.
I agree. I have to take Dallas. I don't listen. We see this Clippers team, and I feel like it's the Clippers organization, right? They go up the hill, and then when they get to the top, they just crash. They don't even come back down the hill. They just crash. Mm-hmm. And again, anybody who listens to me knows that Paul George is Paul George in the playoffs. We've never, so far, since his Indiana days, we've seen nothing different. So as Mr. Shaw said, if he can't contribute for that Clipper offense, there's nothing they're going to do in that series.
I think we're definitely kind of overreacting to game 1s, though. Game 1s is always the jittery game. Like, that's the jittery game. That's what you're feeling out your competition. Same way with the Lakers and Suns. Everybody was all whoop, 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 but you still don't got the Suns beating the Lakers, especially with Nemo, Chris Paul.
Paul George for a game in the playoffs.
I mean, the Suns beating the Lakers.
I don't have the Suns beating the Lakers, but I do. Okay, I said this yesterday. I'm a big Kentucky fan. AD, Julius Randle, y'all came out laid eggs in y'all game. Especially Anthony Davis. You cannot have games like this and be a superstar. Like LeBron James might not have his best shooting game. He still had 18, 7, and 10. All right. Anthony Davis, what are you gonna do? You didn't defend the rim. You and again, y'all only gave up 99 points, but again, you're supposed to make your team better. You missed half the season, right? Like y'all supposed to be repeating. You're supposed to be helping LeBron James as an older man carry the load. You're not doing that right now, AD. Julius Randle, he was throwing up three. All right. Yeah, it's game ones. You can't say, oh, well, I'm not stuck on anybody in their game ones for it to be the Lakers nor the Clippers. I just don't think players such as Paul George, Anthony Davis, and Julius Randle, if y'all want to have your name up there with the legends, you can have games like this. Because Anthony Davis, if they get out this round, I have 2-3 more games like this. Anthony Davis, you can't have 2 rebounds, right? And Andre Drummond, he probably was the worst mid-season pickup. Man, he just don't look like he know how to play basketball some days.
But that's the thing, though. You said KP was, the X factor or whatever. But I think we've been giving KP his roses a little bit too. Like we've been thinking KP is Knicks KP, and he's not the same Kristaps Porzingis with the bat. So he's definitely not the same. So we're gonna have to see what he does as far as bringing what he can bring to the table on offense and defense, because he's definitely not what he's supposed to be on those ends.
Now, facts, I agree. And he has to play the full series, right? You can't give us one game, right? You played one game last year, right?
That's the reason why first games are important, because remember, you need to you're trying to get to the finals, right? The least amount of games that you have to play, the stronger your legs are in the end. So everybody sometimes like to disregard what the first game looks like. Yeah, you can come back and win the series, but is it going to cost you later? And that's the same thing that I was saying about the play-in, right? So the Lakers had the play-in to get started. You played a tough Golden State that emerged at the end of the season. Your team hasn't been healthy. LeBron hasn't been healthy. AD hasn't been healthy. AD proved last night, because sometimes we forget, as we no longer play sports, or for people who never play sports, it takes some time to get back in shape after you've been sitting down. Because when you're hurt, you're not working out. You can ride the stationary bike all you want. It's different from when you're running up and down the court and you win it. It's different when you haven't been putting up the same 500 shots because you can't. So those jitters and the amount of game time that you've had, this has already been a weird shortened season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coming off a championship.
That added to players being injured.
You say what?
I think that also added to players being injured.
Exactly. Plus, remember, the Lakers won the championship last year. Short window before we restarted basketball. So we have to take all those things into consideration when we say, oh, that first game doesn't matter. It could cost you in the long run. I'm
not saying it don't matter. I'm just saying the game one is the second most important game to me, because what are you supposed to do when you're going into a playoffs? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take care of your home court advantage. So really, game one is, and as the higher seed, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win the game. That's why I'm not tripping over the Bucks beating them at home. They were supposed to win it.
But, and Bradley did it and Bam and Jimmy played bad. So
Jimmy Butler played the worst game I've ever seen him play in my life.
Yeah,
and we still only lost by Chris Middleton buzzer beater.
Ooh. So, that was pretty too. I ain't wow.
It hurt me. It was pain, but
that was pretty. That's Chris Middleton.
But in that same sentence, the most important game is game 3, and that's what will be the one. Are you going to be able to steal the home court advantage game?
For sure. The Heat need. You know what? It was important that Gordon had a good game. Right. Again, Gordon actually carried them offensively.
Gordon's our third best player, and he was the best player that day.
Yeah. Right. And then you got, Duncan Robinson was in. I think Tyler was even off that game. Did Kendrick Nunn even spin? Like the Heat have a lot of pieces. And the thing, Memphis, right? After Memphis beat the Warriors, because Memphis has so many young offensive players, right? Dylan Brooks. Nobody talking about Dylan Brooks. He been getting buckets since Oregon. We know Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson still ain't healthy, right? Jerry Jackson, they have a lot of young talent over there. So Memphis, we're gonna have to worry about them. We need to be on the lookout for them in the future. All right, Ja's not playing. He won it in the playoffs, and I respected what they did. So just again, it's a lot of young talent we need to look at. A lot of teams with talent. The Heat have a lot of talent. I feel like they are the team in the East that could give Brooklyn some fits because they got a lot of talent.
Okay, so
right?
let's go through that for those who aren't familiar or you're just listening. Because remember, we have listeners everywhere. So if you're not following the NBA, you should be following the NBA playoffs right now. Miami,
Thanks.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee leads the series 1-0. That's what we've been talking about. The Jimmy Butler, Bam, Giannis, the Chris Middleton buzzer beater. You have Portland at Denver. We talked about whether or not Donovan Mitchell was going to play this game, which they're saying that he is. So, personally, the thing that I've learned to like about the playoffs with Portland is Dame Dollar time. You get some of his best works when his back is up against the wall. So Portland versus Denver series. In the East, you have Boston versus Brooklyn. Brooklyn leads that series 1-0. Boston don't have the pieces, in my opinion.
Jaylen Brown gone. I don't know what's wrong with that team. Whether it be you need a legit big, a real point guard. That's the problem. Kemba Walker is not a real point guard. He's not an elite point guard. Kemba Walker would be great on the Lakers.
In my opinion, I think Kemba Walker would be fine with them if they haven't done a good job of drafting outside of Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Because I mean, they got people that get DMPs now that we're taking as lottery picks, like Romeo Langford and Grant Williams. Grant Williams don't do nothing when he's out there. Let's be honest. And then, there's a lot of other people. They have to run like two people that's my height, and Carson Edwards and Tremont Waters. So it's gonna be troubles on defense regardless, just off of that.
Right, and they took Carson Edwards because in the tournament at Purdue, he was just going dumb. He had like a 30-point, and So again, you're right. You're right. It's Danny Ainge. And you know what? I'm not gonna knock him because he might put them pieces together and trade them out for something. Hopefully, I'm not saying I respect Danny Ainge as a GM. Don't think I'm saying that. I'm just saying you're right. He has made some picks. You like, why did you take them? Right, but hopefully he gonna do something a package deal. He sees something in the future. So. And y'all know the Warriors still gonna have a top 3 pick if I'm not mistaken.
Probably because they probably had some left on the books.
No. They getting it from Minnesota. That's crazy. Think about good they can do.
Well, that's what you need.
Come back, James Wiseman. You can even trade that pick away. That's crazy. They'll be back at the top next year.
I do believe with a healthy Clay. So we talked about Los Angeles and Phoenix. We're gonna come back to that series. We talked about Dallas and the Clippers. Dallas leads that series 1-0. Washington and Philly. Philly leads that series 1-0. Atlanta and New York. Mr. Shaw talked about Julius Randle with New York coming out, not producing in the first series. Also, Young, right? This is Trae Young's first time in the playoffs. Julius Randle as a lead, right? It's different to be a role player on the team. It's another thing to have to be the star to carry the weight. So you have that series, and then there's Memphis at Utah, where Memphis leads that series 1-0. Now, real quick before we run out, I do want to have the LeBron James conversation. 2 parts. LeBron James went to a tequila event where we saw him maskless hanging out with Drake. 1, it was violation of NBA protocol. What can you do with LeBron? That's the biggest question. As long as he's in the playoffs, what can you do? And the other question is LeBron James and Chris Paul. They are something like best friends, really, really close. We saw LeBron help Chris Paul up once he got hurt. We know Chris Paul can be a little dirty agitator, and we saw him kind of go at LeBron tough twice. Do you help your friend up when he is your rival in that situation? And should the league punish LeBron James?
Give him $20,000 fine for violating our rules. You do have rules. You never want to become bigger than the organization or make them feel like you never want to single yourself out. You don't want to be LeBron like, hey, I was wrong. I pay my fine. I'm no better than anybody else. Pay your fine. But as far as rivalries go, I can help you up and still tell you I'm finna bust your ass. Like, there's nothing wrong with me shaking your hand or fouling you a little hard. Stop crying, bro. We playing ball. You know what I'm saying? That's a competitive nature. So I don't think there's nothing wrong. I don't think Chris Paul tried to undercut him on the block out. I think he wanted to make sure LeBron didn't get the ball. I'm not mad at him for that, but I don't think he was trying to hurt LeBron in that instance. But it's okay to help your partners up, even when y'all in the rivalry. Don't cut no slack though, right? Like if Chris Paul feel like I needed this foul or I need to rough LeBron up a little bit to get in his head, Chris Paul might know something about his friend we don't. So when it comes to friends and rivalries, I feel like that's them. Because every rivalry is different. You go down the history of rivalry, it'd be anime or it'd be real life. Every rivalry is different.
Taj?
Like he said, I don't have a problem with him helping him up because, like you said, as soon as the ball gets tossed back up, I mean, we back and getting jiggy or whatever. So, yeah, I didn't have a problem with him picking him up, but at the same time, like he just got to make sure he got that same like go get him mentality when the ball gets when the whistle's blown. Yeah, he needs to be fine.
He needs to be fine. I think maybe it's a man thing because I'm a competitor. We not friends, bro. I would have been like praying for him to get up away from him, but I wouldn't have helped him up because you're not on my team. I help my teammates up. We are rivals at this point in time, and I never need anybody to mistake where my loyalty lies in this particular situation. And we are making a run for the championship. I am making a run to be a champion. I am making a run to be the greatest player to ever play this game. I'm coming for everybody in my way. Point blank, bottom line, period. And Chris Paul, if it has to be you, my friend, you can get it too.
Well, look, all I'm saying is before we go to break, there's no need for LeBron James to come out and I'm finna hit 7 threes on you like Michael Jordan did against Clyde Drexler because he didn't win the MVP. It ain't that big of a deal.
Why not?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with it.
But they've been doing this for a long time. I don't think they got to really establish, what their real mentality is behind things. I think LeBron James know what he got.
He's not gonna be angry like I didn't get MVP. I'm mad. Come on, Michael, chill, bro.
But LeBron do be mad, and like I like y'all say that, but LeBron do be mad that he don't be MVP.
Look, when we do the documentary, because it ain't gonna take 25 years to get LeBron's documentary, we're gonna find that he might have been upset, but it wasn't the same Michael Jordan. I needed that motivation to go.
He doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't have the same level of killer instinct that Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan ain't never had to play 5
or Kobe Bryant
stars at one time.
He what?
Michael Jordan never had. People weren't running to team up to beat Michael Jordan. So not gonna do the Michael Jordan argument because what LeBron James has had to face, Michael Jordan never did.
There's levels of killer instinct too. LeBron James has killer instinct, but Michael Jordan is insane. Like he's psychologically not right.
For real.
Winners want to win. I'm just
Kobe
saying.
For sure. Kobe was little brother.
And Kobe and Michael are my guys forever. It is time to go to
go in and say, hey, Jim, you see this trash you got me out here playing with? They trash like
those are I'm from that era.
Yeah,
that era. But we're gonna go to break before Mr. Shaw blames me for not getting the break on time. Guys, thank you for joining us. We will be back.
You need the new generation like that.
We will be back right after this break.
You can't